What's going on with Micah Parsons' contract update? Why would Attack on Cowboys put out that video and then just leave it out in the ether and never address it again? That's not how we roll over here. Y'all already know. I stand on everything I say on this platform, and I'm going to tell you. Actually, I'm not going to tell you. Micah Parsons is going to tell you exactly why we haven't had an announcement on his contract just yet. Let's get right into this, and this is a dialogue that honestly has not been had nearly enough in sports circles in general, but most notably in the Dallas Cowboys community as it pertains to free agency and these negotiations and whatnot. There's always three sides to every story, and in this story, one of those sides could be the one that's holding up everything. Be sure to subscribe. Let's get to 30K, y'all. Let's get to 30K. Oh, man. This young man right here, this young light-skinned fellow with a sleight of build, and he looks pretty harmless for the most part, but make no mistake about it. This fellow is a demon. He is a negotiations demon. This right here is super agent David Mulligetta of Athletes First, and you guessed it by the name of that firm. He definitely is going to put the athlete's pocket first because, let's be real, it also affects his pocket. 10% of $40 million is a big difference from 10% of $30 million. I'm just saying. Let's not act like these agents got the most noble causes at heart, but this is a nuanced conversation, and out of fairness to the agent and fairness to the jobs that agents are expected to do, we're going to cover all sides of this. And again, this is pretty good information that I'm telling y'all right now about what we're seeing and what's going on. First, let's get to the fact that Micah already kind of let us know what's happening right now. And then I'm going to walk you through why was it that reports came out, or why was it that we discussed that the deal was almost done. Well, I'm going to address that in just a second. But Micah Parsons put this on his social media account. He says some of these agents don't have the best interest for y'all, man. Wake up! At David Mulligetta has been showing it time and time again. It's sad seeing some of these players get violated by teams because of lack of decency and effort by their agents. Y'all reading in between the lines right now? I really hope that y'all are reading in between the lines right now, because I will tell you this again. A framework of a deal can be essentially put together without a deal being necessarily done. Let me say it one more time. A framework of a deal that a player agrees with, a deal that a player is happy with, a deal that a player is ready to sign can be done. But the agent, at the end of the day, can also talk that player off that ledge. The agent, at the end of the day, can also have one of those mini phone calls, one of those mini lunch business meetings, one of those mini meetings that he has with the players during the time of negotiations, whether it's just a check-in on the phone or an in-person meeting. An agent can also have a major influence on making the player see all sides of why it's important that he takes his time and makes sure that he tries to get the best deal possible for him. Okay? Are y'all catching my drift right now? If y'all aren't, I'm going to be the one that just flat out says it. The agents don't get enough flack for how negotiations play out with the Dallas Cowboys. I have it on good information. In fact, we discussed it on the Cowboys Collective a little bit as well. But I have it on good information that there's times where agents can make life a little bit more difficult for the Dallas Cowboys, where agents can be the people holding up deals. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Micah Parsons was ready and willing to sign a deal days ago, probably almost a week ago, right? He was ready and willing to sign a deal. What we have seen is an agent being like, hey, I know you're ready to sign this. But think about what you're going to do to your brothers. Think about everyone else in the league. If you sign for this amount, it makes everyone else have to get a little bit less money. Think about what we can do to make sure that we're not only getting the best deal for you, but we're also helping push forward the entire field. We're also helping push forward the entire market, right? So now you have a situation where you're caught between two ideals. Do you want to follow your heart or do you want to follow your mind? And in this case, your mind is your agent. I think that is what we are in the midst of right now. I think the agent is trying to maximize the value of this situation for Micah Parsons, as he should by his job description. And Micah Parsons is doing what he should do, and he's letting his agent take the lead on this situation for now. Now, we shall see how this ultimately plays out, but that's what you're seeing right now. That's where this random vote of confidence for his agent came from as it pertains to a Micah Parsons. His agent is doing his due diligence. He convinced Micah to let me do my job. Let me try to get a little bit of a better deal. We're not going to necessarily try to break the bank, but we got to push this forward somehow. We got to at least make sure there's enough guaranteed money in this contract to set a new standard for guaranteed money in a defensive player's contract, right? Even if the annual average value may not be the highest, we got to make sure that the guaranteed money is the highest, right? Now, the other side of this, let's say the Joneses know that one of those parties was ready and willing to sign a deal, or they're able to get one of these parties at a slightly lower price point than what the agent may be wanting to get the Joneses to, right? Because make no mistake about it, at this point, we've seen how the market jumps whenever a new market is set for a position. It jumps about $5 million. It did it with the quarterback position. It did it with the wide receiver position. It did it with the defensive end position. It did it with the cornerback position just recently. So every time a new market is set, it jumps up about $5 million. So make no mistake about it. Anything below $45 million per season is technically a discount for Micah Parsons, just so we know where we're kind of working from right here. Anything below $45 million per season is technically a discount. So, yes, he can still be a man of his word, because we, as the general audience, general public, may not know exactly what the price point is that the agent is negotiating from. It's somewhere close to about $45 million per season, right? So, Micah was perfectly fine signing for a few $1,000,000 less than that, right? A few $1,000,000, maybe several, maybe closer to several $1,000,000 less than that. Y'all do the math. Y'all understand what the syntax is on that. Understand what the meanings are behind those words, few and several, how many different millions that may be. He was willing to sign for less than that, but the agent, again, the agent's doing what the agent's supposed to do, and he's making sure that due diligence is being done in this situation, and Micah Parsons is maximizing this moment, right? So that's the holdup, and how it may happen where multiple people involved, not just myself, got information from multiple people close to the situation, close to the source, that deal was pretty much done. How does that happen? Well, it happens from the player involved being ready and willing to sign a deal already and being excited to share that with people and sources that may be floating around in his ecosystem somewhere, right? That's how that happens, y'all. That's how that happens. That's how these types of situations happens. That's why contract negotiations get drawn out a lot further than what they should at times, because the agents, they're like the secret party involved that no one ever gets angry at. Everyone gets mad at the team. Everyone gets mad at the players. No one ever takes a step back and be like, hey, there's actually only one neutral party in this that we have no allegiance to as fans, that we honestly shouldn't care about whether we hate or like these guys, and that's the agents. The agents specifically work on behalf of the players. That, at times, goes against the best interest of our rooting interests as far as teams go, as far as franchises, right? So agents, honestly, they get to skate by, because you get a guy like a Dak Prescott getting in a situation where he's getting a lot of the blame, because but they hired these guys. They've hired some of the best guys in the world to do their job. So there's also a fine line to walk as a businessman as it pertains to, oh, I'm just gonna do some team-friendly stuff, fire one of the best agents in the world. Ain't no telling what type of connections he or she may have to where he can make it difficult for you to find another decent agent or another person that's able to get you the same type of connections that agent may have been able to get you. There's a lot of stuff that goes on with this stuff, y'all, but to simplify this, what's the holdup right now? One of the three parties is the holdup. Cowboys were ready to do business. Micah was ready to do business. Now you're seeing people kind of in a standoff again because the agent is telling Micah, let's relax a little bit. Let's calm this down. And again, this is just me walking you through the situation. I'm not telling you or relaying information from anybody or nothing like that, right? But this is me telling you what's going on in the situation. Agent's telling Micah, let's stand down a little bit. Let's let this thing play out, right? Let's try to slow play this. Hey, do you think maybe you could even not show up to OTAs? Do you think that you can maybe not show up to training? I'm telling y'all, the agents are like the devils on these players' shoulders, trying to get them to do all the most drastic possible things so that they can get the result that they want out of these situations. So patience. It's still very, very close to being done because, like I said, both parties are ready to do business right now. The agent is also just doing his job and making sure that this thing doesn't set back the entire position. I'm sure that's the responsibility that he's kind of made very clear to Micah Parsons is, hey, you're not just showing fealty to your team. You got to show some loyalty to your brothers as well and help your brothers get their bag in the future, make it easier for your brothers. And you got to set that next step. So that's the conversation that's being had. Information that myself, Law, a couple other people kind of let y'all kind of alluded to, like, hey, yeah, it's pretty damn close. Still good. It's still good. And I still honestly expect the news to drop at any moment, whether it's this week or next week. I still expect the news to drop pretty damn soon. I will be surprised if we don't get news about a contract before the NFL draft. I would be absolutely shocked because that means that, yeah, they're going full standoff mode and they said, screw any discounts. We're trying to get the full gusto. That's what that means. If this doesn't happen before the NFL draft, that means that the agent has taken full control of this situation and he is 100% going full gusto. And we're likely going to see a Micah Parsons contract drop somewhere around the range of $45 million per season. And that is going to be, that's going to be rough. That's going to be rough. But either way, that's the update on the Micah Parsons contract situation. I'll catch you guys on the next one. How about them Cowboys? And still, it's going to happen, y'all. It's going to happen. That's the biggest thing that we took from this entire situation is the Cowboys are, in fact, making an effort to make sure that Micah Parsons remains a Dallas Cowboy. Regardless of what people are saying in the media, that's negotiation stuff. They're not going to talk about they're actively negotiating, how far along they are, what's the hold up. Because once you let people know, yeah, we're negotiating, then the questions don't become, are you negotiating? The questions become, what's the hold up? And see, that's a worse question than are you negotiating? So that's what's going on right now. That's why we're seeing people try to come out and kind of put that fire out, is because they are still actively negotiating and we're trying to let them do so in peace. But I did want to make sure I gave you guys that update as well, because I don't want to just put that out there and then just leave that information hanging. And we'll kind of see what kind of, breadcrumbs will drop. But Micah pretty much let us know exactly what's happening right now. He's trusting his agent right now, right? It's kind of shifted back from, hey, I'm happy to do this because it's going to help the team, to, oh, you're right, I do have more responsibilities to all the other players in the NFL, and I got to be a little bit more responsible with how I handle these negotiations. So I'm going to let you do your job.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Hey! I'm still them boys.